Welcome to Etown Everywhere podcast. I'm Nellie, your co-host. This is episode 21 of Etown Everywhere, a podcast featuring fun facts and friends from around the world. The show is brought to you by Elizabethtown College's Office of International Student Services.
Hello everyone, I'm your co-host Luke, and each week we will be taking you on an adventure around the world. This week's featured country is Antarctica.
Taking a swim across the big pond to our featured country, here are some fun, fast, fantastic facts about Antarctica. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was minus 128.56 degrees Fahrenheit, registered on July 21st, 1983 at Antarctica's Vostok. The dry valleys of Antarctica are the driest place on Earth, with low humidity and almost no snow or ice cover. On average, Antarctica is the windiest continent. Winds in some places of the continent can reach 200 miles per hour. Antarctica is the fifth largest continent. The Antarctic ice sheet is the largest single mass of ice on Earth. 99% of Antarctica is covered by ice.
Hearing about all those fantastic fast facts makes me want to move to Antarctica. But before I do, I would like to know what kind of climate and weather to expect. The climate of Antarctica is the coldest on Earth. It is also extremely dry, technically a desert, averaging 6.5 inches of precipitation per year. On most parts of the continent, the snow rarely melts and is eventually compressed to become the glacier ice that makes up the ice sheet.
Now let's hear about some more amazing facts about Antarctica and make ourselves more worldly people. Antarctica is home to about 70% of the planet's fresh water and 90% of the planet's freshwater ice. Including its islands and attached floating plains of ice, Antarctica has an area of about 5.4 million square miles, which is about 1.5 times the size of the United States. The Antarctic Treaty was signed on December 1st of 1959 after more than a year of secret negotiations by 12 countries. It dedicates the continent to peaceful research activities. 48 nations have now signed the treaty. In January 1979, Emilio Marco Palma became the first child born on the southernmost continent, and Argentina sent Palma's pregnant mother to Antarctica in an effort to claim a portion of the continent. In 2011, nearly 20,000 tourists visited the Antarctic Peninsula, according to the International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators. The most abundant land animal on Antarctica is not the penguin, but the tiny nematode worm. Penguins are the most common bird in Antarctica and live in colonies of populations that would rival some cities, according to the British Antarctic Survey. The male emperor penguin is the only warm-blooded animal that remains on the Antarctic continent through the winter. It stays to nest on the single egg laid by its mate. The female spends 9 weeks at sea and returns in time for the egg to hatch. There are no trees or shrubs in Antarctica and only 2 species of flowering plants.
Speaking of students from around the world and students in general, here are 3 wacky, worldly, wonderful words of wisdom for this week. Responsibility. Blaming others for our failures or shortcomings is merely plastering the buck onto those around us. Authority. Do you see yourself as strong or weak? Can you be assertive when circumstances call for that? There is crucial differences between power and authority. And third, accountability. You must live with the consequences of your decision-making and actions.
Coming back to information about this week's featured country, Antarctica, here are some famous films set in Antarctica. Happy Feet, The Day After Tomorrow, and Alien Hunter.
Welcome to the Etown Everywhere news brief. In our featured country of Antarctica, to get to Australia, giant dinosaurs known as titanosaurs may have had to trek across an even more down-under continent, Antarctica. The findings suggest that Australia's sauropods, including titanosaurs, didn't get to the continent until about 100 million years ago, tens of millions of years after other types of dinosaurs arrived. Moreover, the family tree strongly suggests that Australia's sauropods descended from South American forebears. If those results hold, then it means that sauropods must have traveled by the land from South America to Australia during Cretaceous, when the drifting continents were almost in positions we see today. Okay everyone, it's time for your favorite part of the show. Drum roll please. The joke of the week.
Question: what dog takes the money and runs fast? Answer: a payhound!
That was hilarious. I can't wait until next week to get another laugh in.
Idioms are a group of words that don't really mean what they say. What they actually say can sometimes seem silly. If you don't know the special meaning of an idiom, you won't understand what someone is trying to say. Here's our idiom of the week: in one ear and out the other, which means going through the mind without leaving an impression.
Thank you for listening to Etown Everywhere, a podcast featuring fun facts and friends from around the world. The show is brought to you by Elizabethtown College's Office of International Student Services. Etown Everywhere was originally conceived jointly by WWEC 88.3 FM, The Sound of Elizabethtown, and the Office of International Student Services. If you would like additional information about this week's podcast, please contact the Office of International Student Services at oiss@etown.edu or at 717-361-1594. I'm your co-host Luke, and remember, never stop exploring the world around you. Have a terrific day.